Today we are talking about Eastbourne Tennis 2025. So we are 2 days away from the start of Eastbourne 2024, and in the next 365 days, there will be another edition of this prestigious tournament. The field for next year's event is already starting to take shape, with 5 players confirming their participation. But before we get into who those 5 players are and why they could make a deep run at the title, we have the small matter of getting through this week in Eastbourne. As ever, it's going to be an exciting week of tennis. And as a reminder, if you want to watch every match live, you can do so on Amazon Prime Video. Right, let's get into it. The first player that has confirmed they'll be returning to Eastbourne in 2025 is none other than defending champion Carlos Alcaraz. The Spaniard won his first ever grass court title last summer, beating Alex de Minaur in the final. It was a tight battle between these two players as all 3 sets went to tie-break. But it was Alcaraz who came out on top in the end. Carlos has enjoyed some success on grass this year, winning his second Queen's Club title, defeating fellow Spaniard, the 2023 Wimbledon champion, Carlos Alcaraz. The third seed is yet to drop a set in his 2 matches at Queen's, and in normal circumstances he would head to Wimbledon full of confidence. But due to the scheduling of this year's championships, he'll now have to wait an extra week before playing his first match. Nevertheless, when he does eventually get started, he'll be among the favorites to go all the way. And after his triumph last year, it's likely that he'll be given a bye in the first round at Eastbourne. This will allow him to spend more time practicing on the grass ahead of Wimbledon and hopefully fine-tuning his body after that recent injury. Speaking of injuries, the defending champion hasn't been able to compete on grass in 2024, as he continues to struggle with an elbow issue. But he did play doubles at French Open and recently confirmed that he'll be back on the singles court soon. He has entered the 2024 Cinch Championships, but will not be able to defend his title. The next player to book their place in Eastbourne 2025 is Jannik Sinner. The Italian reached the quarterfinals last year, losing out to eventual champion Alcaraz. He had match points against the Spaniard too, but ultimately it wasn't meant to be. However, since that disappointing loss, Sinner has gone from strength to strength. He picked up his maiden Masters 1000 title in Miami and made it all the way to the final in Rome, where he pushed Novak Djokovic all the way, despite being a set and a breakdown. He followed this up with another deep run at a major, making the quarterfinals of the French Open, where he was narrowly edged out by eventual champion Novak Djokovic once again. And then on grass this year, he made the quarterfinals of both the Stuttgart and Queen's events. Overall, it's been a very solid year for Sinner, and I think he's got a great chance to finally make that breakthrough and win his first slam in 2025. The third player to book their spot in Eastbourne next year is the man who Sinner defeated in the 2023 final, Alex de Minaur. The Australian has had a bit of a resurgence this year, making the final in Dubai and the 4th round at the Australian Open and Wimbledon. Alex also made it all the way to the last 16 at the French Open, and although he did lose in straight sets, it was against the eventual runner-up, Casper Ruud. It's clear that the 25-year-old is improving on a surface that traditionally hasn't been his best, and I'm sure he'll be looking to go one better than last year and lift the trophy at the 2025 Eastbourne International. Next up, we have the 2023 finalist and world No. 8. Taylor Fritz, the American, made a deep run at Wimbledon, this year making the quarterfinals, where he lost in 5 sets to eventual champion Carlos Alcaraz. Fritz's form on grass over the last couple of years has been exceptional, and I think he's more than capable of going all the way and winning the title. And finally, we have Andy Murray. Yes, the 7-time Grand Slam champion will be playing at the 2025 Eastbourne International after confirming that he'd be coming back for another year. The 36-year-old was given a wild card into this year's championships and ended up having a fantastic run, making it all the way to the semifinals, where he was narrowly edged out by eventual champion Carlos Alcaraz. In a deciding set, Andy had match points in this one, but ultimately it wasn't meant to be. But what a run it was from the Brit. It was only his second tournament back after undergoing major hip surgery, and he really showed us that he still has what it takes to compete with the very best in the game. Unfortunately for Andy, he didn't back up that run with another deep Wimbledon campaign. But he did reach the quarterfinals in Washington and the fourth round in Toronto. So clearly he still has plenty of good tennis left in the tank, and I think next year could be a big year for him. Right now, though, his focus will be on trying to make one last deep run at this year's Wimbledon station. And if he can do that, then I'm sure he'll be looking to go even further next year. Now I've given you the names of the 5 players that have already confirmed their participation. But who do I think can win the title in 2025? Well, as I mentioned earlier, I think Taylor Fritz has the game to win this event. His serve is exceptional, and he's also a very good mover. The American has also shown that he can perform on the big stage. And I think he has what it takes to go all the way. However, if Carlos Alcaraz decides to play and defend his title, then I think he'll be the favorite. As I mentioned, he's already had a taste of winning on grass, and I'm sure he'll be looking to add another title to his resume. Jannik Sinner and Alex de Minaur are 2 other players that I think can't be discounted. Both of these players have proven that they can perform on grass, and they're more than capable of winning the title. But overall, I think that if everyone is fit and firing, then the title will come down to a Carlos Alcaraz versus Taylor Fritz final. Whoever comes out on top in that matchup will be a worthy champion, so there you go. That's my thoughts on Eastbourne 2025. As I said, we have the small matter of getting through this year's event, and you can watch every match live on Amazon Prime Video in the meantime. If you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel. And as always, thank you for watching.